I have a feeling this podium is about to collapse. It's going to be. Now, also, when we were rehearsing earlier, those watching on the screen next door, you'll see that I'm standing at something that says, "I kick balls, deal with it," which I'll stand in front of it. So thank you very much, Paul. Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the President's reception, which, like the Ambassador's party, is noted for its exquisite good taste, as I can see from you all. Now, Paul just alluded to some interesting, exciting news about the IPA, and it is big news, so I'll get straight to it. And it is that, and I'll quote, actually, from this is from the Privy Council. It says, "On the 9th day of December 2015, Her Majesty the Queen was pleased by and with the advice of her Privy Council to approve a petition on behalf of the Institute of Practitioners in Advertising to grant a Charter of Incorporation." So, what this means is that we are now the Chartered Institute of Practitioners in Advertising. Now, the politically alert amongst you will have noticed that this decision by the Privy Council came shortly after Jeremy Corbyn's somewhat reluctant admission to the Council, and I have it on good authority that the Director General, Mr. Bainsfair, was lunching only this week with the Leader of Her Majesty's Opposition. So I think this is further testimony to the amazing account management skills of the former Saatchi & Saatchi man, that he's got the member for Islington North loving the advertising industry. So congratulations, Paul, if only. So, more seriously, the chartered status, I think, reflects the role of advertising in society and the positive role. And as you know, this is something I've been banging on about as part of my Here for Good agenda. And I just want to quote from the blurb that comes with chartered status. And they say that the body, these are the criteria for being a chartered institution, the body in question. This is not Paul Bainsfair's body, this is the body of the IPA. The body in question needs to be a well-established and well-regarded institution representing a unique profession. The primary advantage of a royal charter is that it represents recognition by government that the institution represents a genuine profession and that it can be trusted to regulate that profession in the public interest. Chartered bodies are expected to put the public interest first, on the basis that public confidence in the profession as a whole and in its regulator are in the best long-term interests of the profession itself. It is the gold standard for professional bodies. So this good news about chartered status comes at the same time when the IPA has also had a record number of new members joining, new agencies, and a record number of people taking and passing the foundation certificate. So I think we can say that your industry trade body is in very robust shape, and you'll see dotted around the room, I think, for your perusal, the little book of Big Thinking, which outlines the corporate strategy, the three-pillar strategy of the IPA, and do feel free to take them home and peruse them at your leisure. But the focus of today and this evening is the survey that we commissioned as part of the agenda around gender and ethnicity and the splits around gender and ethnicity by department and also by agency. And before I talk about it specifically, I just want to say a few thank yous to people in the room. First of all, thank you very much to Roger Ingham. I don't know, is he here? Is Roger here? Not sure if Roger's here, but anyway, Roger from the IPA for his patience and diligence in conducting the survey. Secondly, thank you very much to Claire Beale, who I know is here, and Kate McGee, who isn't because it's her first wedding anniversary, which is a pretty good excuse. Thank you to Campaign for supporting us and for publishing a big report on the survey today, and there'll be the second part of that next week where we'll look at ethnicity specifically. So thank you very much to them. And most of all, thank you to you, most of you who are representing member agencies here, for offering up and agreeing to offer up the data so willingly. And I just want to take this opportunity to make it very clear that those few agencies that appear not to have submitted their data, in most cases they did actually submit all or most of it, and there are various reasons why it hasn't appeared, and many of them are very keen to make it clear that they very much support the initiatives around diversity, and I'm sure that everybody will be in next year and we'll be able to expand the database for next year. So, to turn to the survey, I don't know how many of you had a chance to read it all. There's quite a lot of information in there. The first thing to say about the survey is that I think we as an industry have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of and no need to be on the back foot or defensive, because we are ahead of many of our peer industries and sectors in dealing with issues around diversity. Not that that means that we have any room for complacency. You'll be pleased to hear that I'm not going to go through all of the data in detail this evening, although I do want to focus on the goals that the IPA we have agreed to set ourselves and talk about some of the practical steps and initiatives that we're undertaking that we want you guys to get involved with in order to get there. So, the first goal is on gender, and that goal is that, and these goals are set to be realistic, achievable, but quite a long way from where we are now. So the first goal is that we will have, by 2020, 40% of the senior roles in agencies will be taken by women. Currently, it's about 30%. And obviously, to get another a 25% effectively, a 33% increase is going to be quite a big ask in 5 years and needs the pipeline to move through. And the IPA has a number of initiatives within the talent program to address this. One of them is, which I just want to do a quick plug for, is Women of Tomorrow. The closing date for entries for that was going to be tomorrow, but it's now going to be Tuesday. It will be tomorrow on Monday, so please do get your entries in for that, and then also all the initiatives around admission, and one of my predecessors, Nicola, who's here, Creative Pioneers, has played a big role in this and is still ongoing. We're also pleased to announce this evening that the IPA will be actively supporting the Great British Diversity Experiment. I was told there'd be a whoop there from them. Which, as many of you have seen, launched this week, and we're really interested to see how that works, and very much looking for that to give further evidence to the business basis for diversity. We are not talking about all this stuff just because it's the right thing to do. It's also the best thing to do for our industry in terms of effectiveness. Another new initiative that we are developing is a program that will encourage women to come back into the workplace if they've taken career breaks. If you look at the data, you'll see that when people first come into the industry, the split between genders is absolutely equal. In fact, if anything, it's slightly in favour of women. And the reason why we end up, one of the reasons why we end up with only 30% in the senior roles, is that not enough people are coming back. And so we are going to look into ways in which we can improve that. And there are a number of programs that other member agencies are already doing, which we want to learn from and expand. So turning to ethnicity, the goal there is that by 2020, 15% of our industry's leaders will be from non-white or BAME backgrounds. Now, that number is currently only 7.9%, and you can probably see that in this room. And we need to do much more, it seems to me, to promote the proven business case of diversity in leadership teams. So the actual process of compiling the survey itself was really quite interesting and showed how difficult some of these issues are, because it's obviously quite a difficult thing to get people to self-identify what their ethnicity is. And a lot of agencies, I think, came back to us saying, how do we do this? Now, government is going to require us to do this, those of us who are in larger organisations, and we think we've got quite a bit of learning about how to do this, which the IPA is very keen to share. We're also going to look at how this kind of data is collected in other industry sectors and try and get best practice. The IPA has in fact already committed to help our industry recruit 25% of new joiners from BAME backgrounds by 2020. And that work is well underway, with over a third of the 2013 London Creative Pioneers coming from BAME backgrounds. And I hope that many of you in this room will commit to offering internships to BAME and STEM graduates as part of this year's IPA admission programme. And I urge you to, if you don't know about the admission programme and you're interested, talk to any of the IPA people who are here tonight or later on. Now, this survey is obviously just a beginning of a journey that the industry is going to go on. And one of the things, I just wanted to end by saying that one of the things that has struck me really forcibly in the first 10 months of my time as president of the IPA is how many people in our industry are really passionately committed to making a difference in this area, and the number of people who really believe that advertising can be a force for good. And not only do they sort of say that, they've actually been really forthcoming with their time and their help. So thank you very much to all of you for that. Thank you very much for coming this evening. And here's to a great and diverse 2016, and carry on drinking.